Hi everybody, this is Father Warner D'Souza, and today we celebrate the solemnity of the Nativity of John the Baptist. Our text today is taken from Luke chapter 1, verses 57 to 66 and verse 80. A rose by any other name would smell as sweet. This quote is frequently referenced as part of William Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet, in which Juliet seems to argue that it does not matter that Romeo is from her rival's house of Montague, that is, that he is named Montague. The reference is often used to imply that the names of things do not affect what they really are. But that argument would not work for God, for he chooses names for his anointed ones, or he changed their names because he wanted to indicate a new phase in their lives. Abraham was named Abraham, Jacob was renamed Israel, and Simon, as we know, was called Peter. But God not only changed names, he also gave names. His only begotten Son was to be called Emmanuel, which, as we all know, means God is with us. Before the angel of God conveyed to Mary the message of the birth of Jesus and his name, he had made another annunciation, perhaps a less spoken one. The annunciation, so synonymous with Mary in the New Testament, was preceded by the one made to Zechariah in the temple. Zechariah, however, was not upbeat as was his wife's cousin when the angel appeared to him. There was no Magnificat in praise of God, just unbelief and a question. What a price he paid for that one question, for he was silenced for the next 9 months. God's will, however, was communicated nonetheless to Zechariah. There would be a son, and he would be called John. The Annunciation of John followed a biblical Old Testament pattern seen also in the cases of Isaac, Josiah, and Solomon, just to name a few. The 3-step pattern included an announcement of birth, followed by a declaration of the name, and finally the announcement of the destiny of the child. Traditionally, a Jewish firstborn would be named after his father or grandfather, if he was a boy. If she was a girl, she would be named after her grandmother or mother. The other siblings were named after a relative. On the 8th day, Zechariah and Elizabeth gathered in their homes their loved ones, for John the Baptist was to be incorporated into Israel by his circumcision. What happened next must have been a shocker to all. Elizabeth interrupts the ceremony. That the ceremony was disrupted was bad enough. That it was done by a woman who should, by tradition, being silent, made it even worse. But she was firm. He is not to be called little Zach after his father. His name is to be John. Strong protests must have erupted at this family celebration. Elizabeth had more than just disrupted a ceremony, she had disrupted a tradition. Much to everyone's surprise, a writing tablet made of a flat piece of wax was brought, and Zechariah pronounces in writing, he is not to be named Zechariah, meaning the one whom Yahweh remembers, but his name is John, meaning God has been gracious. God had remembered his people through the ages and had never broken his covenant. Now the moment had come when he was to send his only begotten Son, and to do this, he had to make an announcement. It is in changing a family tradition that God indicates the greatest change. He is going to make now in the lives of humankind. He is going to give up us his Son, for God is gracious. That's the meaning of the word John. The solemnity of the birth of John the Baptist is not celebrated principally to draw attention to the virtues of this precursor. It is to draw attention to the graciousness of God, who will give us his Son as our Lord. It is to highlight the upcoming Emmanuel, for John must decrease and Christ must increase. God's graciousness will be replaced by God's presence himself, Emmanuel. The nativity of John the Baptist serves also as an occasion for us to look in our own lives and cherish the many John moments, the moments when God has been gracious to you and to me. I thank you for listening to this reflection. I want to wish you a happy feast, and if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel as yet, please do so.